live once again.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like,
Suddenly, your live was just off, and then I got a
I think so. I pressed the X
okay. So the live video ended.
cross. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We have few more people in the live. So, guys, those who are
Yeah.
watching live, if you have any questions related to my book, which we are discussing at length, please ask in the questions, or any other questions you have related to my writing or my any of my other books. So,
So
Samruddhi,
I wanted to ask,
hello, hello, Vaibhavi, hello, Ahiri. Yes, Samruddhi. Am I audible?
mm,
Hello.
Yeah.
You were about to ask me a question.
So I was about to ask
And she's off again. Hi, Samruddhi, are you there?
a bit cringe certain level.
Uh, hello.
Hello.
Yes, I couldn't catch your question. Can you repeat it?
Yeah. So I was about to ask like rom-coms can get a bit cringe at some point. So how did you tackle that problem while writing? Like you thought of it, or is it like you got through it?
Having read many romance books, I know what points in my story because I have read so many books. I know what particular parts in a book that I don't like.
oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's how I avoided cliches also. But of course, there are yeah.
Like nowadays cringe level is increasing.
Yes, current level is increasing, and I think people are becoming less tolerant towards content which is not acceptable. So you
Yeah,
have to be very conscious about what you are writing or putting out.
like people just
Yeah, so a little thing can can be blown out of proportion in a few seconds. So you have to be very careful about what you are putting out.
social media.
Yes.
Seriously, it gets a bit scary sometimes. Sometimes it annoys us.
Yeah, but you have to be here if you want to promote your work, if you want your work to, reach a wider audience. It's like a necessary evil.
So I was also had one question like you wrote a quote before every chapter. So how did you got that idea? Like I never had read any book with such an innovative idea. So you had that in mind, or you got inspired by something, or you read it like somewhere?
So the idea was to, make the reader understand what the protagonists are going through. And before each chapter, if you see the quote that is put before each chapter is very relevant to the actions of that particular character in that chapter.
Yeah.
So in order to justify those actions, I had to make a clear understanding right in the beginning of that chapter why that particular character behaved in the way that he did. So yeah,
Okay.
that was the idea.
That quotes really define their actions beforehand. Like they are very interesting, so, at some point. So there is one feminist quote of Aisha saying, I guess at the beginning,
Yeah, so
in
not wanting a girl child is as stupid as
yeah,
yeah, driving without a
that
destination.
was a very strong quote. Like it just
Yes, so in the very beginning, we know that Aisha is a feminist. She's not going to take any nonsense from anyone.
yeah, she is actually very bold and strong. Aisha,
We have quite a few joining. Hello, thank you for joining.
yeah.
Yes,
So
Samruddhi.
as a
So yes,
uh,
tell me.
what are the challenges that you face while finding a storyline or a plot in particular? Like, you have any ideas for further any books you are writing about, or is it like on the spot you decide like I have to write a rom-com, or you think for it over a long period of time?
No, it definitely involves a lot of thinking because, as I mentioned earlier, I have been thinking about writing a novel since I began my writing journey, and uh, it took me a lot of story ideas to chuck aside and focus on one story to be able to be confident enough and work on it. It takes a
Yeah,
lot of experience. It takes a lot of focus. It also takes a lot of determination to continue writing and go back to the same thing every day while you are writing a novel.
every, yeah. So did you take any reviews before while writing the book? Like, is this a good plot or is it going well? Like, you had someone behind you
uh,
to like,
yes, so when I had the plot of the idea story in my head, I reached out to about 5 to 6 of my friends and asked them whether they would be interested in reading such a story, and there were mixed
yeah,
reactions because not everyone is interested in reading a romantic comedy. But the
yeah,
people who really liked rom-coms, they were very intrigued by it, and they were like, "Yes, we would definitely read it." So that's how I got the idea that I need to work on this, and there will be an audience for it who will like the story.
like the storyline, because the first book that I reviewed for you was a different story, complete
Yeah.
different story. It was not a novel, there were short stories.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah. So, what does it take to write a book? Like, I am very intrigued. Like, authors do put in a lot of efforts to write a 200 pages book. Like, it takes a whole lot of efforts, and it just takes a few minutes to like hate it or like it or love it even more. So, as a reader, I'm very intrigued about how do you write? Like, how do you start the whole process as a journey?
So the first and foremost thing for being a writer in any genre is that you need to have read enough in that particular genre. For instance, if I have written a poetry book, I have read many poems, and that's how I know what will work or what will not work, or what kind of writing needs to be involved in writing poetry. And the same goes for short stories and a novel. So when I was writing a novel, as I mentioned earlier, I chose this particular genre only because I have read many romantic books, and that's also why I
Yeah,
didn't choose to write fantasy or a thriller or a horror story because I have not read enough books, and it would involve
yeah,
a lot of research. And I was intrigued by this idea of challenging myself, to write a full length novel and see where it leads me. Because I have written so much, the only thing remaining now is non-fiction and novel. That was what was remaining for me. So I was like, why not?
Yeah, that was a delight for us. Like it was a great story. At the end, I was like, oh,
It
and
was it a satisfying read for you?
yeah, actually, it was a very light and calming read. Like you get a lot of fantasy books that are very heavy. Like it has a whole plot placed. Everything is sometimes it gets overhead and it just bounces off your head. Like understanding the place every time, remembering the character, every character. There are whole different characters in a
Yes,
book, and remembering each and every character can get a bit annoying sometimes. So having
yes,
just three protagonists and the story revolving around them was very nice for me. Like I like such reads that are very short, simple, and very sweet. So rom-com is the best option for it,
yes, true.
like a love triangle.
Yeah, so that was also the idea because if you see with fantasy, fantasy books are
Yeah,
never standalone books. They are always a series book. It cannot be one because
one.
it involves
Yeah.
such complex understanding and explanation of characters, explanation of the plot, explanation of the time where it takes place. So that was also one of the reasons I chose rom-com.
Yeah, and since the book was in Mumbai, I was able to connect more. Like Mumbai is, I don't live in Mumbai, but it is nearby, so I can connect. And how did you got the idea about that Mithibai college? Like you are from that college, or is it
I
like
am.
in your vicinity?
So, Mitipai has a sister concern which is called Usha Praveen Gandhi College of Management. I am an alumnus of that college, so that's why I'm very familiar with that area.
Yeah, yeah, because writing in an area, you should know everything about the area so that you can put in so that the readers can connect with the plot and they can imagine
So,
like,
I'm just going to interrupt you. One of my professors from UPG is online, and she has just commented that she's from UPG. Thank you, Archana ma'am.
oh, I saw it.
As I was just mentioning to you that UPG is the sister concern of Mithibai. That's why I know so much about that area. The canteen that I have mentioned, the road stalls that I have mentioned in the story, they have they were like our regular hangouts when I was in college.
Oh, like it was, he used to eat that vada pav. Sometimes he used to take Aisha somewhere. He used to come to pick her up. Like
Yeah,
the
I understand. So while I was writing the story, it also made me remember and miss my own college days because it's very
yeah.
similar to what I have written in the story.
Since I am in college right now, so I can understand what Aisha would have felt, what Viren would have felt. It was like I am the same age of the characters, so I can totally understand what they go
So,
through.
so the readers of your age group, they will be able to relate because they are going through that phase. And for
Yeah,
readers of my age, who are in their late 20s or early 30s, for them it will be like a blast from the past, going back to their memory.
it will give them a
Nostalgia,
tinge
right?
of nostalgia. Yeah.
Poetry Sinha, Mrs. Patil. Thank you all for joining.
You mentioned poetry, so can you tell me about how do you think of poetries? Like I can't read poetries that much because I don't know why. I just don't understand poetries. Like I don't know why, but poetries can get a bit boring for me. So how do you think of poetries? Like I find that people writing poetries and reading poetries are the most creative ones. Like understanding poetry needs a hell lot of efforts. I
So, the thing about poetry is that it cannot be, confined. You can write about anything and everything. That's what I like the most about poems. and which is why I write poems which are very everyday incidental,
Yeah,
inspired from everyday things, or very relevant hot topics of discussion. If you notice, the first poem in the book itself, it talks about female infanticide,
yeah,
which is a very relevant problem in most countries, and especially in India. So
India.
I choose topics which people can relate to, and which can open up discussions. Those are the kind of topics I write about.
Oh, like poetries, read your poetries, like you post them, and they are very in a easy language that people can understand. So I guess writing easy is the most toughest job, like finding easy words to
Yes. Yeah.
mention
So
our
I
thoughts in the.
make a conscious effort. Despite doing that, I have many people coming and telling me that my writing is very complex for them. I tell them to go and read Shashi Tharoor. One paragraph, go and read Shashi Tharoor and tell me that my writing is complex. Then I will talk.
Like poetry, I find your poetry very easy, and the poetry that I read in the past, uh, I just hated it. Like I didn't understand a bit. I
So
never
that's
touched
the beauty of
poetry after
poems.
that.
There are poets who write very complex language, and something which is very which is understandable only for a certain group of people. And there are poets like me, or my age group, and poets who belong to this generation, who write very simple poems, very relatable poems.
Yeah, yeah. I guess your books are also in a easy language so that people can understand them very well. Like I didn't find any word like that is out of my vocabulary. Like
Oh, that
writing,
makes me
I
so
find
happy. I
writing
was
easy.
actually worried about that. That people will come back and tell me, what is the meaning of this word? Why did you use this word? There could have been a simpler word for this.
Yeah, yeah. But including some interesting words can boost up the story. Like sometimes the words are very effective at times.
Yes, that is also true.
Words add a lot, words add a lot to the storyline. Like not we cannot use simple words every time.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you something about the book then. Which part did you find the most humorous in the book?
Like I don't know why it was a bit sad part, but I found that when Viren finds Abhi and Aisha in the college, that part I don't know why I just find it humorous because uh, I connected a lot with Viren. So finding that the girl you love is with someone else in the college and doing something like that, and he just didn't react the way I wanted. Like he was so calm.
Such a sorted person. He didn't create any
Yeah,
drama.
very sorted person, and that made me laugh because how can someone do that? I would have never done that. I would have just crashed upon Abhi, and yeah, I would have just held his collar and just slapped him like anything. But Viren was very calm. Now that I know why he cleared his UPSC, because he's a very calm and focused person.
Yes. So the whole idea behind that chapter was to show that how the difference between the three age groups was the whole idea.
Yeah,
Other than the romance that is brewing between the three of them, I wanted people to understand that Viren is more sorted because he is elder to them, and he comes from a very different background, and he has a clear idea of what he wants from life.
yeah. The saddest part was directly in the wedding situation where Aisha and Viren meet again, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
So, अब क्या होगा?
can't I I can't even help them. Like now Viren is such a successful person, but still he doesn't have Aisha. I always felt like I was Aisha and it is all happening around me, like it is happening to me.
Yeah, that's a great thing. That's a compliment for me that, you are able to relate so much to the character.
Yeah, I mentioned in the review, like Aisha, I connected with her so much. Like she's the same age group like me. Like she's smaller a bit, but still I was able to connect with her a lot. And she was stuck in a situation like both the handsome guys.
Both
Yes,
handsome, both intelligent.
sorry.
Yeah, no
Like
problem.
I would have been this
What
like
to do, what to do. You would have been like
what
Aisha
to
only, what
do,
to
what to do. And the two friends she had, the childhood friends,
do.
they they were hilarious. Like they just kept on putting in her mind like she's stuck between a situation and now she has to get out
They
of
were
it. And
actually forcing her to choose someone. She was not willing to choose anyone, but the friends were,
yeah,
putting
she
pressure
wanted
on
both of them, and that is possible.
her. Yeah, so friends can be like that sometimes. They push you towards something you don't want to do.
Wanted to do, yeah. She wanted to get out of it, but she got stuck into it again.
Yeah. Oh, this was such a fun conversation. I am enjoying talking about my book so much.
Yeah, it
If
was the first experience for me, and it was very nice. Like I never had a life.
so, it's good. You should start somewhere. Always open to new opportunities. This is like growing the growth for both of us. I am Apurva is saying, hey, Apurva.
Hi, Apurva. He's my childhood friend, like since first standard, first
Oh,
first standard.
hello, Samruddhi's friend.
Hi.
So, Samruddhi and I will be live for a few more minutes. If you have any questions for either of us, please write in the comments. Until then, we'll continue our chit chat on my book
Yeah,
that we are talking about, Love Triangle.
yeah.
Tell me if you have any more questions, Samruddhi.
So I wanted to ask, like, Abhi is a very different kind of character. Like Aisha is also a calm person, and she's not like she gets angry on every bit. Like Abhi is a very strong person. So is it imaginary, or you have someone that strong, like he's possessive and he wants something?
No. So,
Like I hated Abhi, so I just didn't want to talk about
that's really sad because Abhi comes from a different background, but he's equally likable.
it.
If you notice,
Yeah, yeah.
he is being very kind to Aisha in many situations. He's being sweet to her. He's being
He
very caring.
rude with Viren. Like he got rude with Viren, so that broke my heart. I was like, Abhi, don't do it.
But if you notice, he's very good with his friends. Notice his behavior with Sharad and Gayatri. He's very sweet to them.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, Obviously, he's very popular, so he is likable.
yeah. And he's a handsome guy. Like every encounter with Aisha, and every their encounter was very romantic and kind of fantasized. I was like, it was a Bollywood movie going on. It is like a Bollywood movie for me.
Yeah, so one of the readers, mentioned while reading the scenes between Abhi and Ayesha, she was like, I could feel the, Yashraj music going on in the background where you
Yeah,
la la
I read
la
that.
la la.
I read that one.
Yeah, I
So
was
is it
very
that you're a Shah Rukh Khan fan or something, or Bollywood fan as a
me,
whole?
me.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm a big Bollywood fan. Not just Shah Rukh Khan. I love movies. So not only just romantic movies. I'm a fan of all movies of all genres. So even if
yeah.
you
Movies actually I connect with.
look at the little things and notice the little things in the book, like I have chosen a few songs which are very particular. Then the
Yeah,
titles of the chapters, they are also related to either movies or books or songs. And these are the little things, very few readers have noticed it, and they were like, "Oh my God, you are a Bollywood buff." I was like, "Yes, I am."
Like Bollywood is a very nice platform. Like I love movies a lot. I also watch a lot of movies, but I sometimes skip romantic movies. Like I get a bit emotional sometimes, so I don't watch any of the Bollywood movies. But
Yeah, but
to
I,
all the
I have grown up on the movies that I have mentioned in the book. So yeah, been a huge impacting factor in the story also.
Yeah, like I watch all the Akshay Kumar movies, so they are all this action and drama. So I don't like to cry while watching a movie. Like I can't watch Kal Ho Na Ho or that movies. Like they made me cry, and so I can't watch such movies.
I hope the book didn't make you cry at any point because that was not the purpose.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't made me cry. It just broke my heart. I was like, shit. Aisha is no one.
Okay. So it makes me very happy, interacting about my book and getting to know your reactions about it. And it
Yeah.
encourages me to write another book now as soon as possible.
I am waiting for it. Like your first book also, it was mind blowing. Like I felt very calm after reading that. Like I don't know, but your writing makes me feel calm. I observed it. Like I didn't mention it in the review. I guess I didn't write it, but your writing makes me calm. Like that. Those eight short stories also they were very interesting, and I found them very relatable. Your writing is very relatable.
Thank you so
Like
much.
you can relate it with.
We have Pramila, we have Pia Tambe, we have T. James. Thank you for joining. We are almost about to end the session now, so if you have any questions, please ask in the comments.
Uh,
So, Samruddhi, if you have any more questions for me, please ask. Related to the book, this book or any other book, or about writing.
So, how did you thought about changing the genre? Like the first book that I reviewed
Hmm.
was short stories about
Hmm.
short stories. So
Hmm.
it was like, did you choose? Why didn't you choose just romance? Why rom-com? Like you like comedy, or you have a person like who is a comedian in your life that
I'm the biggest comedian in
concentrates
my
you
life. There's nobody else. I'm the biggest comedian in my life. I laugh at myself because I make such silly mistakes. I'm a blunder. Uh, yeah, I am a very clumsy person. So if I don't laugh at myself, others will laugh at me. So उससे पहले मैं ही अपने आप पे हंस लेती हूँ.
up? Yeah, because rom-com is a nice idea. Like mixing romance with comedy can get a bit harder for writing. Like I feel it harder. I don't know about you. You might be experienced right now, but
Yeah,
if you
so
tell,
I didn't want to write simple romance because it would have made the book very sad, I feel. And I'm not a very
yeah,
sad person. I like writing stories which can evoke emotions, which can make people laugh. And I didn't want people to feel sad while reading my debut novel actually. So the idea was to spread joy. That's why I chose rom-com rather than just romance.
yeah, it didn't really make me cry, but it broke my heart. Like because I connected with Aisha. It was a nice delight to our eyes. Like it was a nice book. I am hoping for the next one, like waiting for the next one.
I'm not promising anything, but I do have it in my mind to make a spin-off of this love triangle and probably write about Varun and Gayatri now because a few people have asked me how did their romance start and what happened that led to the
Yeah,
climax.
it was like a secret relationship they were sharing, and suddenly that came into limelight.
Yeah,
And I
and
was,
also Gayatri has been liked by so many people. She's such a fun character.
yeah, she constantly kept Aisha like she used to talk about Abhi all the time she met Aisha. She and Sharad.
Yeah. So probably, let's see. I'm not making any promises, but I do have it in my mind that I need to explain somewhere to my readers what happened between Gayatri and Varun.
Yeah. Like Varun was a new character in the story.
Yeah. And he's not talked about except in just 2 3 scenes, and doesn't do justice to Gayatri because she's an important character in the book.
Yeah. So Varun came into limelight at a few points, and then uh, people were like, "How did this happen?"
ये मेन हीरो तो नहीं था इसको ये कहाँ से आ गया स्टोरी
Like she was making a story for Abhi and Aisha, and she had a whole lot of story going behind their backs.
Yeah. And then there is of course Nalini and Sharad also.
Yeah, Nalini was a new character. Like they were making a whole drama for Abhi and Aisha, but the both of them had their own story going on.
Yeah.
It didn't.
So these side characters have their own stories, which would be which novel are you discussing about? I would love to know. Pia, we are talking about my book debut novel, Love Triangle. It is a romantic comedy which released on 8th March, and Samruddhi has read the book and she has written a lovely review about it. She has given a 4.5 rating to the book, and you can get in touch with Samruddhi for more details, or send me a DM.
Yeah, she's my Didi. Like since childhood, I was with her. So she used to live near me. Like we were living uh,
In the same
we used to
society, in the same locality.
yeah locality in the beside house. Like she used to live, and she used to take care of me. Like I was a newborn. When I was a newborn, she used to take care of me, and
Oh,
I know her since then. Yeah.
how nice.
So now as she's married, she's with her husband. So I will let her know about the novel.
He has commented that surely I'm going to read it as soon as possible. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pia. And I look forward to your thoughts on the book. Yes, she's my child. Oh, how sweet. Okay, Samriddhi, I think we have talked for over an hour now, haven't we?
Yeah. Like I hardly interact with people like this. Like I get a bit anxious and nervous sometimes, but you made it go like makhan.
So, Samriti, I think it's about time we end the session because we don't have much of live audience also now, and this has been so wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for inviting me and talking to me about my book. It makes me very happy that you like the book.
Yeah, it was a delight. Like you write a very good novel. Also, you write the poems daily. I read them. Like I sometimes don't get the time to comment below them, but I go and read them back. They are nice. You keep the job doing. I am waiting if you write something.
Thank you so much. It's comments like this from people like you who that motivate me to write every day. Something new I have to write today because people are liking it so much. Okay, Samriddhi, it was wonderful talking to you. We'll catch up again, and do share this video on your IGTV, which I will then
Yeah.
reshare it on my own Instagram. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, Samriddhi. Good night.
Bye. Good night.